And good evening or good morning to you all. And this is Jason DeCanio live from the WJDC studios in beautiful Vito, Florida for DMS3000 News Live for this Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Hope you've had a fantastic morning so far. You woke up probably before me wondering where in the heck you was about a half an hour ago. So I'm here. We'll do the best we can to make this hour and a half program the best. As I mentioned before yesterday, we have some pretty good topics to talk about. We have commentaries from the Catholic Church today. What is today? We have a lot of holidays to cover, sports scores, updates, and other great things as well. Of course, your daily horoscopes, all that coming up later on in the program. But, of course, we always start every day and each and every program with the headlines for today. So let's take a look at them right now and get on here. Let's do it. Let's go right now. So evacuations begin after a major dam in southern Ukraine is heavily damaged. It's immediately unclear who was responsible for the damage of the dam and power station of the Dnipro River. The damage risks flooded areas where hundreds of thousands of people live. Also, too, federal Indian boarding schools still exist, but what's inside may be surprising. Well, the schools were tools of the U.S. government's attempts to erase tribal culture. But the few that remain have become places Native families want their children to attend. These are the winners of this year's James Beard Award, the biggest night in food. The Washington, D.C. chef won the outstanding category. The Chicago ceremony was hosted by chefs Eric Ashapong, Esther Chow, Andrew Zimmerman, and top chef Judge Gail Simmons. Well, swimmers should get ready for another summer short on lifeguards. Across the country, fewer people are up for the task to be water rescuers at their local public schools and beaches. Last summer, the stubborn shortage led to beach closures and shortened hours. Sky-high egg prices are finally coming back down to earth, and the industry is recovering from a massive bird flu outbreak and high inflation rates. The prices may not fall to what they once were. Here are the major Supreme Court decisions. We're still waiting for them this term. Yes, the U.S. Supreme Court has yet to issue opinions in 27 cases that it's heard this term. It has about 4 weeks left to release them. Here are the major cases NPR is watching, and we'll give you a little bit more detail in that later on. A1 in medicine needs to be carefully deployed to counter bias and not entrench it. Yes, powerful new artificial intelligence tools can perpetuate long-standing racial inequities. They are not designed very carefully. Researchers and regulators are taking note, but perils are vast. New U.S. immigration rules send asylum requests soaring in Mexico, as one of the new U.S. rules says you can't request asylum unless you've already been denied in another country. So Mexico is getting more asylum applications than ever. And Apple moves into virtual reality with a headset that will cost you more than $3,000. Yes, the fruit company has unveiled the long-rumored headset that will place its users between the virtual and real world, while also testing the company's ability to popularize newfangled devices. And that's a look at headlines right now. We'll pick up with more on the update of the Supreme Court a little later on in the program. All right, guys. Well, I hope some of you woke up with me this morning. If not and you missed it, that's okay. We're live here until about 8 o'clock. I don't know about you, but I didn't sleep too well last night. But everything went well last night with our recordings for Joker's Wild and Blockbusters and Super Password, and our contestants showed up. Well, I think they barely showed up. I'm not really sure about that. No, they showed up. And taping went fantastic. In fact, it went a little bit over the assigned time that we thought we had. But, in this case, we did our taping and recordings like we always do. And the second season of Blockbusters got off to a great start. And the first season of the Joker's Wild that I'm hosting is now already one down, and we've got 12 more to go. So we'll do 13 weeks of each show. You'll see all of those shows in the fall schedule coming up later on in September. And speaking of September, folks, now we're on summer hiatus officially. I am, and yet I still have one more podcast to do, and I'm going to try to get it done today after I get off the air, and put it in the books, because as far as I'm concerned, even though we're on summer hiatus, you might see it on Spotify and say to yourself, "Hey, man, this is a little late." Not really. As long as the recording dates are fine, you can still get away with putting those in. As far as I'm concerned, there's little tips and tricks that we can give that you might pick up on, but then you might not pick up on. So this, again, is something that, just due to scheduling, sometimes these things just don't happen the way they as planned. You want one more episode to put in the books, and then you realize to yourself, oh, shoot, I'm on hiatus. Yeah, I'm on hiatus from all my YouTube channels and Spotify and Anchor. So, hey, we've got somebody here this morning. And we wish everybody here a good morning here on the DMS3000 News Live. A little late. I apologize for that. So if you're trying to get in to listen to the show here, go right ahead and just come on in and enjoy the podcast. We're here for an hour and a half. Maybe it's got to be a 6:30 to 8:30 thing. I don't know, because waking up at 5 o'clock, put the alarm off, and then sleep for another hour, and then try to get over here, it's not as easy as I thought. But we will make do with what we have here. The studio time right now is 6:37, and of course you're listening to DMS 3000 News Live here on Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. All right, let's go ahead and look at the horoscopes for this morning. Get you guys ready to go. Here is your general daily horoscope for today, June 6th, 2023. There's an unusual current to the day that may be rough, or maybe rather tough to follow. The moon in Capricorn kicks off with an odd quincunx to the sun in Gemini, throwing off our internal balances between being effective and being entertaining. The moon will rake up our heavier feelings when she squares Chiron in Aries, but breakthroughs are possible when she then trines Uranus in Taurus at 1:10 p.m. today. So keep that in mind. Followed by another trine to Mercury. Be willing to say what you mean today. So in other words, be truthful, don't hold it back, and don't try to sugarcoat it. Okay? All right, for you Aries, let's get going here. Betting on the dark horse could turn out to be the easiest way to win the day. The moon is flying through your ambitious 10th house, emphasizing crossing the finish line. But her trine to surprising Uranus in your income sector will potentially make the most unusual path the most lucrative one. So try to change up the way you run the race, because this fresh approach could carry you over the finish line and to the jackpot much sooner than you'd think. Okay, Taurus, you're up next. And it's the perfect day to let your freak flag fly. The moon in your expansive 9th house is forming a harmonious trine with iconoclast Uranus in your own sign, giving you the urge to break out of any ruts and shake things up just for the sake of a little change. Your sign doesn't tend to love change, but even you may get so deep in your ways that if you don't jolt out of them, you'll go mad. A small shift can do wonders. For the Geminis, well, the veil between worlds could feel rather thin today. There's a powerful connection overhead as the moon in your 8th house of the occult aligns with Uranus in your 12th house of the subconscious. So you could feel like someone or something is trying to send you signals from an unseen place. If revelations or sparks of inspiration arrive, don't try to figure out where they came from. Just be glad they are here now, providing you with a eureka moment or two. And for you Cancers, Well, your social life may receive an extra boost at this time. The caring moon is in your partnership sector, empowering the time you spend with people who truly matter to you. But her special trine to Uranus in your 11th house of global networks will open up the invitation to a wider network of acquaintances. Be open to meeting new people because someone you don't even know could turn out to be an amazing friend. A welcoming attitude will take you far. For you Leos, an unusual approach to your work could have fantastic results. A potent trine between the moon in your responsible 6th house and rebel Uranus in your career sector shake things up. So whenever you aim for the top, taking a different road than usual could get you there much quicker. This success has a good chance of arriving with some sort of financial boost, one which you probably won't see coming until it's knocking on your door. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And for the Virgos, the change to enjoy yourself could arrive at any moment from far away. You're primed to make the most of things while the moon visits your fun-loving 5th house, but your pleasures may take on an exotic flair as the moon trines Uranus in your adventurous 9th house, bringing opportunities and excitement from unseen places. So take a chance and don't overthink things too much. Your other responsibilities can likely wait while you follow your heart to greener pastures, preferably ones you've never explored before. And for me and the Libras today, doing things on your own might be the most appealing approach at present. There is a lovely trine between the moon and Uranus, but these two luminaries are camped out in rather emotional, private sectors of your chart, so don't be shocked if you'd rather fly solo than lean on others for support. With that being said, support is on offer, and receiving it will only require you asking for it. But you'll need to break out of your bubble for that to happen. And for you Scorpios today, someone else may call the shots before you even have time to realize what's happening. You're possibly in the mood to get out and see what's going on as the moon tours your busy 3rd house. But Luna's potent angle to Uranus in your relationship sector could result in someone appearing out of the blue to yank the reins out of your hands. That isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they may lead you to very exciting places so you don't have to fight it. For you Sagittariuses today, an unusual opportunity could be well worth your time right now. And the moon in your income sector is helping you keep your eye on the money. New ways to earn funds may arise when the moon trines Uranus in your 6th house of daily work. A new client could appear seemingly at random, or perhaps someone offers you an odd job that isn't necessarily what you normally do. This could still prove quite lucrative, so make an effort to be willing to try unique activities. And for the Capricorns, the less you try to control things, the more fun you can have today. Yes, you're especially clued in regarding your own feelings as the moon visits your sign. Plus, her special trine to Uranus in your lucky 5th house is making this an ideal time to take a chance on yourself and see what happens. If there's something you've been thinking about doing, but stage fright keeps getting in the way, take this as your cosmic cue to leave your fears behind. And for you Aquariuses, well, unexpected developments could take place under your own roof at any moment, but that's hardly a bad thing. See, the moon in your sleepy 12th house is making it easy to check out from reality, but a lunar trine to Uranus in your homey 4th house will stir things up. And there may be some unexpected knocks at the front door from people who have been missing you, or possibly a family member or roommate will offer up a surprise treat just because you deserve it. And finally, for the Pisces, well, there's something exciting happening in your area today. You're potentially in the mood to connect with people as the moon tours your social 11th house. And this will be amplified when she trines eccentric Uranus in your friendly 3rd house. So some wonderful options may make themselves known to you. All you have to do to find them is call up some friends, be ready to open up your door, and head outside. Delightful opportunities may begin arriving from all directions. And there you have it, folks. The horoscopes for today, Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. Now let's take a look at the baseball scores from last night's Major League games. Give you it. These were the running games that happened yesterday. The Red Sox fall to the Rays 4-1. Tough game for the Red Sox. I really thought they were going to win. Phillies beat the Tigers 8-3. It was the Marlins 9, the Royals 6. The Pirates get the win over the Athletics 5-4. The Astros 11, the Blue Jays 4. The Brewers got shut out by the Reds. Shocking to see that. 2-0. It was the Rangers over the Cardinals 4-3, and the Padres shut out the Cubs 5-0. On the today's games, we have Tigers and Phillies, Twins and Rays. The Royals and Marlins will play at 6:40. The other two games were at 6:40, by the way, too. At 7:05, you have the White Sox at the Yankees. 7:05, the Athletics and the Pirates. The Diamondbacks visit the Nationals at 7:05 again. Astros and Blue Jays at 7:07. At 7:10, the Dodgers play the Reds. The Red Sox and the Guardians at 7:10. The Mets go to the Braves today at 7:20. At 7:40, you have the Orioles and Brewers. The Cardinals are visiting the Rangers at 8:05 today. The Giants and the Rockies, they're playing in Denver at 8:40 tonight. The Cubs will visit the Angels at 9:38. And the Mariners will visit the Padres in San Diego, scheduled time, 9:40 p.m. And that's a look at Major League scores. Let's take a look right now at the hockey and see what's going on right now with the NHL Cup Series right now. Oh, my goodness. It's a final from last night. Yeah, indeed. As the Vegas Golden Knights take a 2-0 lead over the Florida Panthers, and they win the game by a score of 7-2. My goodness. Those Golden Knights really are showing what true players they really are. You know, what strikes me about this, folks, is that, you know, as living here in Florida for 28 years, I'm not even a Florida Panthers fan, but I would have loved to see the Florida Panthers at least, yeah, they're in the Cup Finals and everything. I'd love to see them at least get a win out of this, maybe take the series. But those Golden Knights have proven since they've come into the league that they are one tough team to eventually face. And I, for one, would just be amazed that they've already won their second cup in as many as 3 or 4 years since they've entered the league. I think they came into the league in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong on that, please send me a comment and let me know. But I believe that they think they won their first cup when they first came into the league. And that shows you those expansion teams that are coming in, folks. Well, I don't know. They're doing their job, and they're showing their fans and the rest of the NHL that, you know, they're not ones to, don't take them too lightly, folks. They are a serious bunch of people. Game 3 is going to be, when is game 3 going to be? Come on, you going to tell me when it's going to be or no? Let me see here. Okay. No, that's the conference finals. I don't want the conference finals. Okay. Game 3 will be Thursday night at 8 o'clock. It'll be in Florida. And then game 4 will be Saturday, June 10th at 8 o'clock. And if necessary, game 5 will be back in Vegas on the 13th. Game 6 on Friday the 16th. And if there's a game 7, for holy God's sakes, if there is, It'll be Monday, June 19th, back in Vegas. So it goes to Vegas, Florida, and then the Vegas Golden Knights would have home ice if it went down to Game 7, which I'm not sure what's going to happen, but you never know. I've seen teams. We've all seen teams come down back from 3-0 deficits before, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Okay, well, let's look at the NBA Finals right now. Last we saw that the Heat's tied up the series 1-1 with that 111-108 victory, and so the next game. We're going to try to see if we can get the next. Let's see if we can do this. Scroll it down here and okay. Okay, the next game is going to be Game 3. Be tomorrow night at 8:30. It'll be in Miami. And in fact, the next 2 games will be in Miami. So the Heat have home court advantage going into this tie-breaking NBA Finals. If there's a Game 5, which there will be in this case, it'll be back in Denver. Then Game 6 will be back in Miami on the 15th. And then if they need a Game 7, Sunday, June 18th, we'll wrap up the NBA Finals back in Denver. All right, WJDC studio time is 6:52. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we will look at some more good stuff. I'm going to definitely have several good things for you. We'll have our commentaries from Living Space and talk about what is today. Some big national holidays coming up. All of that more on EMS 3000 News Live. We'll be right back. And welcome back once again here to the DMS3000 News Live for June 6th, 2023. I'm your host, Jason DeCanio. It's 7:01 in the morning right now. Hope you are just waking up. If you are and you got your cup of coffee, we had a great first hour where we looked over the headlines, sports scores, and horoscopes. So we're going to enter this second hour by looking at some commentaries from the Catholic Church and give you the holidays that are today. We have a lot of them to cover, so we might just cover the entire rest of these next 2.5 hours with some interesting holidays that you would think that may not be important, but at the same time, some people would take it very seriously. All right. Today is the week of 9 of Ordinary Time. Yesterday we celebrated the feast of Saint Boniface, and he was a bishop and martyr. Today we're going to be looking at a commentary from Mark chapter 12, verses 13 to 17. And this is an interesting commentary. The commentaries actually are from livingspace.sacredspace.ie. Living Space gives you the commentaries on the daily readings, and they're very, very interesting. So take a listen on this one and get you a little bit inspired today, okay? Possibly in response to the parable of the wicked tenants, which we read yesterday, a delegation comes to confront Jesus. Their composition is rather unusual, but proves the saying that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It would be hard to find two groups more ideologically opposed than the Pharisees and the Herodians. See, the Pharisees set the highest standards in their observance of the law. They were highly patriotic and strongly anti-Roman. And the Herodians, on the other hand, they were seen as rather lax and not particularly devout. And they had the reputation of being a little too cozy with the Roman colonial powers. In normal circumstances, these two groups would never be seen in each other's company. But now they had a common opponent in Jesus, for Jesus was seen, depending on how he was interpreted, as challenging the law on the one hand, and as a potential rallying point for anti-Roman sentiment. The confrontation is carried out with a good deal of subtlety. It begins with shameless flattery. We know you're an honest man and that you're not afraid of anyone because a man's rank means nothing to you and that you teach the way of God in all honesty. In fact, every word of this is absolutely true and would that it could be said of every one of us. In their book, however, it means that Jesus is a very dangerous person, and indeed, people like Jesus have run into trouble all through history, not least in our own days. Now, having, as they imagined, totally disarmed Jesus by their positive approach, they smoothly slip in the knife. And one can almost hear the blandness and feigned innocence with which they ask their question, is it permissible to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Sounds to us a very straightforward question, but it was, in fact, one of the most politically sensitive issues of the day. And, of course, it was a trick question of the have you stopped beating your wife kind. If Jesus said it was permissible, then he incurred the wrath of every Jewish patriot, most of all the powerful Pharisees who deeply resented the presence of the Roman power on their land. If he said it was not permissible, then he could immediately be denounced by people like the Herodians to the Roman authorities for subversion. In either case, he would lose. Well, Jesus, of course, immediately sees through their deceit, and he asks to be shown a denarius, a coin roughly equal to a day's wage. It was a Roman coin, and it carried the head of the emperor, Caesar Augustus. Pointing to the image, Jesus asks whose head it is, and he is told it is that of the emperor. So Jesus says, In that case, give to the emperor what belongs to the emperor, and to God what belongs to God. His enemies were reduced to speechlessness, and they had no comeback. It was an answer that said everything and said nothing. It said everything because no one could quarrel with it. It said nothing because it did not decide in any way what belonged to God and what to the emperor. The whole scene, of course, reflects a serious problem besetting the early church. How much allegiance did they owe, as Christians, to the temporal power, especially one where the emperor was seen as having divine prerogatives or was openly persecuting Christians? There were clearly limits to the allegiance they could give, and this resulted in waves of persecutions and large numbers dying, martyrs, deaths, rather than compromise their faith. And it is still a live issue for us today. It concerns the question of separation of church and state and how that is to be interpreted. It concerns the way we, both electors and elected, vote when sensitive moral issues are at stake. In one sense, God has a total claim on our allegiance. There is nothing which does not belong to him. Nevertheless, society, through its legitimate authorities, also has a claim on our allegiance. It can make demands on us in asking us to contribute, for example, through taxation, to promoting the overall well-being of our whole community, especially of those who are in need. And as Christians, we cannot simply isolate ourselves from the political arena. That is, the arena or the area in which the interests of the citizenry is discussed and managed. The political arena is inseparable from issues of truth and justice, and there is no way that Christians who are committed to building the kingdom cannot be concerned about the welfare of their fellow citizens. The church should not dabble in politics, say some. No, it should not dabble. It should be deeply involved in every important moral and social issue. Nevertheless, the words of Jesus remain our guiding principle. We give to God what belongs to him. We give to society what it has a right to ask of us. Our cooperation in making it a place guided by the principles and values of the kingdom. To do anything less is to fail to give everything to God. And there you have it, folks. Some very interesting commentary for today's 9th week of Ordinary Time on this Tuesday. I say, that's some heavy stuff. As if you're wondering to yourself, well, there's so many charities out there, and there's so many people asking for money, and so many people asking me to donate, and where, who do you go to donate to? Well, the thing you have to understand is if you donate directly to your church, whatever denomination you are, and the only reason why we're giving you a Catholic commentary today is because somehow these commentaries are worded in a way you can understand them, and they are taken from the actual Bible verses. So you can actually take that Bible verse, interpret it the way you want to. We're not discriminating against any denominations here on the show. This is strictly just giving you something to kind of think about. But if you're concerned about donations and where they're going and want to know, well, where is my money really going? The thing you can do is actually talk to the church wherever you worship. Talk to your parish priest or minister, or donate directly to that foundation's website, like St. Jude, or what's the big one right now that's out there, on the commercials that I'm looking for. I can't think of the name, and you're gonna get me later for this one. But when you see a commercial like that, do check the website out, because 90% of the time when some charitable foundation is definitely looking to get donations, they're gonna throw a website out there, or a number, an 800 number, mostly, if you want to call it, because people still can call in. But the website gives you all the information that you need to know to make a valid choice whether or not you want to make that donation to that foundation. And so, we look at all of the uh, societies, the American Cancer Society, the Heart Association, juvenile diabetes, and all the ones pertaining to different diseases and stuff. And we say to ourselves, let's pick one and make a conscious donation, at least not once a month, but every other month or whatever we can afford in our budget. Because again, God said, try to give at least 10% tithe to the church or some foundation to where you can, know where your money is going to help the poor. That's what we're really supposed to be doing. But how many of us really take the time to actually look and know, okay, I got to make some kind of contributions, whether it's through my church or through some other sort of society, or making a donation. Another great thing you can look at is Walgreens and CVS. They do a lot of charitable work as well too. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked for those red noses. You've seen those things for $1. The Red Nose Foundation, the Red Nose Days, where the money's going, it goes. Walgreens is pretty good about that. I've worked for them myself back in the days, and I can tell you that most of, if not all of their money that you donate goes separately to the foundations that they're supporting. Walgreens doesn't take a dime of it. And if they started doing it and started going back against their promises, maybe then, maybe it's something you ought to think about and just donate to the foundation yourself. So it's something to think about. Today's would be a great tithing day. Make a charitable donation. Something like when we were talking about yesterday with starting over. And in fact, today, what is today? Well, there's holidays out there today, folks, that we're going to look at and give you the rundown on them. There's a lot to cover in the next 45 minutes. So let's do that right now. What is today? Well, first, National Eyewear Day. Yes. National Eyewear Day is where glasses have gone from a one-time geek necessity to a cool fashion accessory. Okay. National Eyewear Day invites us to celebrate the fact that glasses, besides correcting our vision, can help create a whole new experience and a whole new appearance too. Honestly, many of us wear non-prescription glasses simply because we like the way they make us look. Well, the good news, today we can choose from virtually endless styles, shapes, and colors. Plus, technology has changed the mechanics of eyewear forever. New smart prescription lenses can now automatically switch focus from far to near and back again, thanks to liquid crystal activated sensors on the frame. So National Eyewear Day reminds us to take a moment on June 6th to think about how far we've come from old school trifocals. And as for sunglasses, they deserve a day on their very own. Yes. And we've come a long way, folks. We surely have. Here are some things you can do on this National Eyewear Day activities. You can get your eyes tested, show them off, and, of course, make some donations, some charities, including the Lions Club International. They accept eyewear donations. Give new life to your old frames. And if you would like more about a broad collection of styles, you can contact VS Eyewear. They're the top-notch protection while looking good. VSEyewear.com. Learn more about them. All right, more national days. Let's go back and see what's next up on the list here. Can I go back? Yes, I can. Okay. It's National Yo-Yo Day. Yes, folks. If it seems like yo-yos have been around forever, that's because they have, and we're talking over 2,000 years. Some believe it all started in ancient Greece, but modern yo-yos likely came from the Philippines. In fact, the word yo-yo first appeared in a Filipino dictionary in 1860, but they didn't become popular stateside until the 1930s. Pedro Flores, or of Filipino descent, began mass producing yo-yos in 1928. And after holding some promotional competitions, he thought the eye of Donald F. Duncan Sr., who thought these yo-yo things were awesome. Duncan bought Flores out, hired him to run the marketing campaigns, and the rest is National Yo-Yo Day history. Well, today the Duncan Toy Company is synonymous with this iconic toy. However, it wasn't Duncan's or Flores' idea to hold a National Yo-Yo Day. No, that honor goes to Daniel Volk, a yo-yo pro whose talent helped spread the toy's popularity. After all, he starred in the Yo-Yo Man instructional video alongside the Smother Brothers. In order to pay tribute to his employer, Volk founded National Yo-Yo Day on what he thought was Duncan's birthday, June 6th. Well, as it turns out, Duncan's birthday is actually June 8th, but hey, it's the thought that counts. Anyway, National Yo-Yo Day has been held on June 6th since 1990, so why stop a good thing? We're certainly not going to. So channel your inner child and let's start celebrating. The timeline of the yo-yo goes all the way back to 500 BC, and they were made out of wood, metal, or painted discs. And as you can see, the modern yo-yo didn't really come into the timeline until November 18, 1920. Modern yo-yos in the United States have the string looped only around the axle. And then, April 12th, 1985, the yo-yo's in space. That's right, they become the first toy to go to outer space. Talk about history in the making. Well, what do you want to do today? Have a yo-yo party. Yeah, think of this like a yo-yo potluck. Of course, everyone can still bring some chow. We'd recommend it. But the key is to show off a unique yo-yo. This could be vintage, new, or if you happen to be a fanatic, custom. Heck, even a yo-yo inspired treat would do the trick. You'd be surprised at the type of cakes and cookies people can come up with. And for all you pros out there, hold a yo-yo competition. If you want to have a friendly or not so friendly competition, this is the day to do it. Everyone can show off their best tricks and the audience can vote on the winner. If you want to sweeten the deal, think about adding some yo-yo related prizes. Yes, these could be the toys themselves. However, don't forget about those yo-yo inspired treats. People love their cake sometimes more than they love yo-yos. Weird, right? And don't forget to post the day's happenings on social media. A lot happens on National Yo-Yo Day, so you'll want to document all the fun. Share pics and videos of the top tricks, yo-yo designs, and any creative treats. If the score hasn't been settled before you upload, social media can be a good way to put an end to the debate. Polls are easy enough to make, so let your friends and family vote. And here's why we love National Yo-Yo Day. We get to be kids again. That's right. Remember the yo-yo craze back in the 90s? Even if you wanted to forget, it's not like you could. Everything was branded as extreme, which made things extremely memorable. Couple that with the TV commercials that show off tricks, and you've got the perfect recipe for nostalgia. It was a simple time when walking the dog made you look cool. And who wouldn't want to recapture a little of that magic? And you can share that magic with your kids in your family. Just don't get mad if they outshine you. Walking the dog is so 90s. And the great yo-yo makes you want to go outdoors with it. There really are, yo-yos aren't really indoor toys. If you were one of those kids who thought so, your parents are probably still reeling from the damage. But aside from that, playing outside gives you and your yo-yos some much needed room to breathe. No one likes being cooped up on a beautiful summer day, but the heat can sometimes stop you from getting out there. With the added motivation to work on some new tricks, people will have to fight to get you back indoors. Your boss shouldn't be one of those people, so your lunch break may not be the best time to perfect Cat's Cradle. But it gives us a chance to brush up on history. For starters, did you know that they used to be called names like bandolores, jujus, and quizzes? Well, not only that, the yo-yos were primarily made of wood until 1955 when Duncan partnered with Flambeau. Even if none of this comes up at trivia, you'll have bragging rights as the yo-yo expert of your crew. All right, that is a look at National Yo-Yo Day today, June 6th. I think we got time for one more before we go to the next break here. 260 shares were put on this one for National. I don't want that. No, I don't want that. Oh, boy. We've got ads up the wazoo. We got Queensland Day, June 6, 2023. It's in Australia, actually. But did you know that the British could have named Queensland Cooksland after British explorer James Cook? If Queen Victoria didn't have her way, which she probably did, Queensland Day celebrates the birthday of the Australian state every year on June 6th. And it was on this day in 1859 that Vicky granted the state the right to form its own government. The day commemorates the struggle against British rule. It is also an opportunity to celebrate everything that's great about Queensland, from its many natural heritage sites to the sunny days, which make for great barbecue opportunities. So, there's a timeline that started in 1851, goes to 1981, and it was officially celebrated sometime on today, June 6th, 1981. Interesting. Here are some activities you can do on Queensland Day. You can host a barbecue, as if this wouldn't be the great time to not host a barbecue. It's summertime. It's beautiful weather out there. Or go to the beach. Take a drive. Queensland has 5 natural heritage sites and 200 national parks. Take this opportunity to explore the natural wonders of the state. And, well, if you're short on time, a drive down Gold Coast with family is always an experience. And, of course, catch up on the history. Pick a book on the British Empire or watch a documentary that chronicles its rise and fall. The British Empire in color is a worthy recommendation here. And while it's important to let the past go, we also believe it is important to know your roots. Queensland, 5 things no one ever actually explained to us about Queensland. It's home to the Dingo Fence. Yeah, the fence, which runs from central Queensland to South Australia, is twice the length of the Great Wall of China. When it was first built, the Parliament of the state didn't have any women's toilets since there were no female MPs. Lungfish is a living fossil which dates back to the Triassic period. It is about 350 million years old. And Queensland was the first British Commonwealth colony to abolish the death penalty in 1922. And Fraser Island in Queensland has rainforests growing in sand dunes, the only place in the world where such a spectacle can be seen. And why we love Queensland Day? Well, how much do we really love it? I wonder. It's power to the people. The British finally granted Queensland the right to form its own government after the people of the state started demanding a colony separated from New South Wales. The day commemorates Australians' struggles against British rule. And here's another reason an excuse to explore it. The second largest Australian state has a lot to offer, from the famous Gold Coast to a number of world natural heritage sites. Queensland Day is the perfect excuse to celebrate the geography, heritage, and culture of the state. And there's so much maroon. On Queensland Day, you'll find government buildings, landmarks, and monuments decorated with maroon lighting. Even pavement turns maroon on this day. And there you have it, folks. National Queensland Day. Very interesting holiday today. And we will look at 3 more when we come back later on in the program here. But we've got some other things coming up. We're going to take a break. And like I say, we will definitely get ready to look at some more holidays. I'll be right back. We'll see you at 7:30.
Tell me what you see here.
Bacon! Bacon!
Mm-hmm.
Bacon! Mm-hmm. Chewy, yummy, smoky bacon!
No, it's bacon strips, Brad. Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
It's bacon!
Huh?
Let's face it, stuff breaks. wears, leaks, and that costs money. Before you call Pro, let Mighty Tape save you dough. Hi, Billy Mays here for Mighty Tape, the flexible power wrap that seals, repairs, and saves you money. Mighty Tape is no ordinary tape, but a self-fusing silicone that creates an airtight, watertight seal in seconds. Regular tapes are a sticky mess. Mighty Tape has no sticky adhesive. Just stretch, wrap, and it fuses fast. Use it to fix a leaky water pipe without calling a plumber. Don't throw away an expensive appliance. Mighty Tape safely repairs all your power cords. The secret is in the stretch. As you wrap, it fuses to itself, then shrinks back to hold on tight for a permanent seal. Now you can instantly repair a vacuum cleaner hose. Mighty Tape insulates, protects, and even withstands this corrosive acid. Amazing! It works in freezing cold to repair an air conditioner, or intense heat to fix a blown radiator hose. Create new grips on tools, handlebars, and clubs. Outside, fix extension cords, sprinkler lines, or garden hoses. Use Mighty Tape to mend broken branches, stake plants, or string vines. We even repaired this punctured air hose. Even under pressure, it has the strength to safely bring this diver back from the ocean depths. Now that's Mighty Tape to the rescue. With every stretch, wrap, and repair, you'll save hundreds. Call now and we'll send you 2 rolls of Mighty Tape for $19.99. That's enough to wrap up to 60 feet. But to seal the deal, we'll triple the offer and send you 6 rolls of Mighty Tape for the same low price of $19.99. Order now.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden light. It's a good time for the great taste dinner at McDonald's. It's Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
That's it. That's his house. Mr. Brad Haley?
Relax! Did I win something?
My sources tell me you've been calling Jack in the Box junk in the box.
So?
I take these things personally, Brad.
Get lost.
Sure, just try my food, apologize, and I'll go.
Beat it, clown!
Listen, punk! I've spent millions of dollars improving my kitchens to make our best burgers ever!
You're psycho!
Oh yeah! Whoop 'em good, Jack!
Brad, you get to try my best burger ever, and all I want is your honest opinion.
Tasty!
Really? You're not just saying that because I'm kneeling on your spine?
No, I shouldn't have dissed your food, man. I'm sorry, Jack.
Well, I'm sorry about the grass stains.
Really?
No.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
Night and day, the calls. Save me this, save me that. I'm a gecko, not Geico. So stop calling me.
Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
So you want to change your name? People confusing you with Geico, calling you at all hours? What name would you like?
Komodo Dragon, please.
Geico. A 15-minute call could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
And welcome back here to DMS3000 News Live. I'm your host, Jason DeCanio. It's June 6th, 2023. Time now is 7:30, the last half hour of our program. Every once in a while, it's nice to look at the national forecast and give you a current update and seeing where you stand in the forecast. Temperatures across the country today look pretty good with a high in Caribou of only 55. Yeah, so if you're up in the Northeast and you are anywhere near Caribou, Vermont, or even near Maine, you're going to be looking at only a high of 55 today. The Northeast looks pretty good with temperatures in Boston, 61, New York, 76, Buffalo, 73, Washington, D.C., going to get up to 80 today, and in Detroit, 81. And the north, up in the north, you've got, what's that? Sault Street and Marie? I can't even say it. Sault Ste. Marie, 78 degrees there. Chicago is going to be 83. Minneapolis, 84. International Falls, 78. We've got St. Louis, 89. Cincinnati, 83. Norfolk, Virginia, 77. Charlotte, 79. Atlanta, 85. In Florida right now, Jacksonville will have 81. Tampa, 87. Miami, 86. New Orleans, for all you people out there who are loving that Creole and good cooking food, you're going to have an 86. If you're up into Elvis's part of the world in Memphis, it's going to hit 90 today. And for all those seeing that baseball game in Atlanta tonight, you're going to see 85 degrees. Midwest, stretching across from the Denver is going to get actually only to 69 today. And mostly it's upper 70s to the mid 80s across the middle part of the United States. Even Salt Lake City is going to get into the 80s. Utah and Boise, Idaho, get those potatoes going, guys. 80 degrees. Billings, Montana, 81. The highs, the big highs today is going to actually be Phoenix at 105, and Las Vegas is actually going to hit 100 degrees today. So Texas may not always be the hottest state in the union. We've got some pretty interesting temperatures between Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And that's your look at the weather forecast today, which you can also get from the Weather Channel or wherever you live, for that matter. All right. And Zach the Artist is there. Good morning, David. Yeah. Yep. 69. Yeah. In Boston today, it's going to be actually 61 degrees for a high. So for all those living in Massachusetts, you might want to get your sweatshirts on today, or your hoodies for that reason. All right. So that's a look at the national forecast today. We're going to continue on this rest of the half hour with a look at more national days. And today, let's look at, so let's scroll down and see something here. Okay. Here's a yummy one. Yesterday we talked about Gingerbread Day. Well, here is National Applesauce Cake Day. Yes. Really? National Applesauce Cake Day is celebrated every year on June 6th. People find making desserts a daunting task. So National Applesauce Day provides you with just the opportunity to hone your culinary skills and treat your sweet tooth. Although it is a simple dish to bake, today you can get creative and come up with variations. People even get to show their patriotic side as they bake up a storm. Applesauce cake is a traditional dessert that features applesauce as its star ingredients. Different spices are also added to the moist cake, so most Americans like to have a slice of applesauce cake with their afternoon tea or after dinner. Some even like to sprinkle some cinnamon on top, which, of course, we do if we were eating regular applesauce. This cake gained immense popularity among the Americans during the colonial times in the New England region. From the early 1900s till the 1950s, local cookbooks featured improvised recipes for applesauce cake. But it was during World War I when applesauce cake became the favorite dessert of American households. The cake was super affordable and didn't require much time to bake. Didn't have any fancy frosting and therefore had a longer shelf life than frosted cakes. The best part about the cake was that it consisted of only two ingredients, flour and applesauce. And during wartime, applesauce cake was prepared by American housewives because of food shortages. Soon it gained a reputation as a patriotic food and was enjoyed by people of all ages. If there was a rationing of flour, cornmeal, or oats, that was also added to the cake mix instead if there was any shortages. So from 1739, the first appearance of applesauce, as Eliza Smith shares a recipe for applesauce in her cookbook, Complete Housewife. Going all the way for a perfect dessert for vegans in 2016, American author Ann Burns shares a vintage applesauce cake recipe for those vegetarians out there. So, National Applesauce Cake Days FAQs. Do you have to refrigerate it? Well, an applesauce cake can last for 2 to 3 days when kept covered at room temperature. The ones with cream frostings, however, they require proper refrigeration. And what does applesauce do to a cake? You can add applesauce directly into your cake batter. It works as a great alternative for fat and refined sugar and makes the cake less fattening. So how do I use applesauce instead of eggs in a cake? You can substitute 1 egg with around 2 ounces of applesauce and a pinch of baking soda. Same thing works for other desserts too, if you want to omit eggs from the original recipe. So, how to celebrate this day? Bake a wacky cake. Yeah, if you are someone who loves to experiment with their food, then making a wacky cake, also known as a depression cake or a war cake, can be a great way to get familiar with the basics of baking. You know, war cakes were popular during World War I and World War II. People substituted ingredients like sugar and fat with those that were less expensive and more easily available in their area. You know, for example, sugar was substituted with applesauce and butter was replaced with oil. Do you miss canning fresh apples with your beloved granny? Well, why not relive your childhood and bring back those sweet memories? Canning is a fun way to store your favorite fruits in large quantities and enjoy them all year long in recipes like cakes, puddings, and pastries. You can either preserve them in sugar syrup or freeze them in a Ziploc bag. So make sure to dry the apples completely before storing them and use lemon juice to slow down the process of oxidation. And organize a charity bake sale. Yeah, you can invite your local community and plan a special theme for your bake sale. The participants can bake cakes according to the theme of the event. So try to make the event as fun as possible. You can have a mini photo booth where people can have their photos taken with their cakes, or you can hire a photographer to take professional photographs of the event. Very nice. So here are 5 delightfully sweet facts about apples. A fear of apples exists. You know, Melusa domestica phobia is the scientific name for a fear of apples. Apple seeds require 10 years or more to fully grow into a fruit. Famous nurseryman Johnny Chapman planted apple trees on unclaimed lands to legally claim their ownership. Apple seeds contain a substance called amygdalin, which can be poisonous in high doses, so don't take that stuff. And apples cannot sink in water because 25% of their volume is air. Why we love National Applesauce Days? Well, it compels foreigners to try out American desserts. You know, Americans love to bake applesauce cakes. It's a popular dessert among the locals due to its simplicity and association with wartime shortages, as we saw before. Still, it isn't as popular as other cream cakes like pineapple upside-down cakes and red velvet cakes. National Applesauce Cake Day is a great way to introduce this wonderful dessert to people of different cultures and nationalities who have not tasted it before. And contrary to the general perception, it isn't necessary to use expensive ingredients to make mouth-watering desserts. The applesauce cake is one such dessert that doesn't require any extra flavoring to taste good. All you need is flour and applesauce in your pantry to enjoy this wonderful dessert. And food shortages were common during the First and Second World Wars. People had to preserve food to make it last for a longer period. Food shortages badly affected American households, And since applesauce cake was heavily consumed during this period, it reminds us of all the challenges and hardships faced by Americans during that difficult time. And there you have it. We'll look at National Applesauce Cake Day. Bake one today. We encourage it, you know? All right. Now, let's look at another holiday that graces us with its presence. I don't know if this one counts, but I'm always one for higher education, so why not? How about National Higher Education Day? Yeah. You would be surprised to know that National Higher Education Day is celebrated today every year to recognize the importance of education and improving our lives. To excel in your dream job, it's important to have the latest knowledge in that field, which can be attained through higher education. You know, millions of young and old people take time out of this day to make plans to get higher education and think about the options they have by researching scholarships, potential career choices, and even doing a little bit of job shadowing. But National Higher Education Day was founded by Ismar Olagaz and Marcy Hronis in 2015. The main purpose behind celebrating this day is to motivate students to pursue higher education and make college fees affordable for all. Each year, hundreds of students and universities unite to spread awareness about National Higher Education Day in the U.S. The federal government signed the Higher Education Act in 1965, and the main purpose of signing this act was to improve the higher education programs of educational institutions in the U.S. and offer monetary assistance to students who are unable to afford their college fees. The Higher Education Act was backed by both the federal and national level governments. Individual states also developed a similar program to support students who want to enroll in colleges and universities for higher educational attainment. Making higher education accessible is the primary goal of this Education Day, the National Higher Education Day. And this includes motivating and funding students to get enrolled in an undergraduate or a postgraduate degree program. National Higher Education Day also initiates various activities which are continued all year round, and it helps students get useful information on how to get scholarships and prepare themselves both mentally and financially for pursuing a higher education degree in the U.S. So it all started around 1850 on the America's educational boom, and it's all the way came up to about World War I when the American universities create special training courses for military personnel in World War I. So here are your FAQs. What is higher education in the U.S.? So higher education in the U.S. is the education that you pursue after completing school. A higher education degree program usually takes place at colleges and universities. So once you get out of high school, you're already in higher education. Is it free? Well, unlike school education, higher education is not free in the U.S. Tuition fees can be quite high in the U.S. Those who can't afford it seek monetary help through a scholarship program. And what are the 5 systems? Well, the present classification divides higher education into 6 key categories: doctoral institutions, master's, baccalaureate, and associate's colleges, specialized and minority-serving institutions. So, how do we celebrate it? We raise awareness for higher education, we opt for educational counseling, and we become part of an online community. That's a great way to celebrate it. And here's some 5 facts about American colleges that are worth knowing. A quirky college club. There's a squirrel club at the University of Michigan with more than 400 active members that come together annually to feed squirrels. There's a doctor of amphibious letters. Kermit the Frog, yes, Kermit the Frog, was awarded an honorary doctorate from Southampton College. Who would have thought? And Harvard boasts the world's biggest library with over 15.8 million items of reading material. And did you know also that there are more than 60 female colleges in the U.S.? 60. 5,000 plus colleges. That's right. There are around 5,000 higher education institutions in the U.S. 5 facts you didn't know about the colleges. Why we love this day? Well, all A, employees can excel in their current field. B, it gives tips for finding college scholarships. And C, it appreciates the efforts of college students. So take today as one of those days where you basically, appreciate higher education. And that's a look at National Higher Education Day, folks. The WJDC studio time is 7:46. You are watching DMS3000 News Live for Episode 2, today, June 6th, 2023. We'll be right back with more and a wrap-up of today's news stuff and some updates on other things right after this.
Could switching to Geico really save you 15% or more on car insurance? Is Ed Too Tall Jones too tall?
I'm just gonna guesstimate.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Ooh, the flavor of tropical fruit. Ooh la la la. Banana. La, pina colada. Fruit punch. Mango melon. Tangerine. This is paradise. So full of life. Save us. Yum.
The average American visits about 7 different websites before booking a hotel.
I totally get that. We want to make sure that we get a great hotel for the best price. But why only 7 when there are so many more out there? Next time, before you book, check on Trivago. Trivago compares live prices from more than 150 different websites to make sure that you find the best price for your ideal hotel. Hotel? Trivago.
Really? Gotcha! Able to pick up good yardage on the play. The best part of this defense is their defensive line and their interior
Hello?
linebackers.
Hey, who? What's up? Nothing, B. Just watching the game, having a bud. What's up with you? Nothing. Watching the game, having a bud. True. True.
What's up? What's up?
Yo, who's that? Yo! Pick up the phone! Hello?
What's that?
What's up? Yo, where's Dookie? Yo, Dookie!
Yo.
What's up?
What's that?
Hold on. Hello? So what's up, B? Watching the game, having a bud. True. True.
I'll take a Whopper. Do you desire your pyrotechnically prepared beef to be customized with the addition or subtraction of key ingredients?
No onions, extra pickles.
And do you wish to be transformed into a two-dimensional character with yellow skin?
We have here what appears to be an alien invasion.
And the line between civilization and anarchy is eroding as we...
Out of my way, you punks!
Wow!
Lunchtime! Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
Extra pickle, extra ketchup, extra mustard.
How about extra get lost?
What? What's going on?
Aliens have all the fun. Your Highness, your mission is complete.
The world is going Simpsons, and BK is in on it.
I know. All it takes is a touch-tone telephone for you to play Phone Jeopardy at home. And every time you call Phone Jeopardy, you could even win the $1,000 daily prize or the $10,000 grand prize.
Okay, you left out phone, Jeff, just so you know.
Where? How to get that point across.
Here we go, we're speeding along. Here we go.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and immediately you'll be playing the new, easy Phone Jeopardy. I like the way the card stopped in the middle of all of that, but that's okay. And to start you on your way to winning big, we've included questions from recent Jeopardy shows. Here's a 100... You want to show me the next card too, John? No, just leave them there. She drank the poison that Captain Hook intended for Peter Pan.
Tinkerbell!
Fuck 'em.
Okay, buddy, what do you think of Wilkins coffee? I never tasted it. Now, what do you think of Wilkins?
Yeah, what do you think of Wilkins Coffee waking you up in the morning there? Welcome back to the show. It's 7:52. We got about 8 minutes left, so what we're going to do is do a few points to ponder before we wrap up today's show. Thank you very much for joining me here today on this hour and a half program, which will be back to 2 hours next week, I promise you. If David can just wake me up with some like air horn or something, I'll be able to get up, you know? But I appreciate Zach the artist, who was here about a half an hour ago. If you're still watching, thank you for joining us here. And whoever else was watching at this part of the time, thank you. You know, the first show that we had yesterday had close to over 40 views. We thank you very much. Please give me some feedback as to what you want us to cover in the next few weeks. You know, this is a live show that gives information pretty much, not just news, but commentary on anything that you could think of that might be of interest to you. Okay? So we'll try next week. We'll look at, see what's going on to get some information for you that's beneficial to you as well. So here are a few points to ponder, and this is from an interesting site called pages.cs.wise.edu. Couple things it says: don't sweat the petty things, and don't pet the sweaty things. Yeah. Okay. 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, floor. Yeah. Atheism is a non-profit organization. Very true. You know, if man evolved from monkeys and apes, why do we still have monkeys and apes? Right? And the main reason Santa is so jolly is because he knows where all the bad girls live. Oh! I went to a bookstore and asked the saleswoman where the self-help section was, and she said if she told me, it would defeat the purpose. Hey, wonder why, right? Don't get caught up in that one. Could it be that all those trick-or-treaters wearing sheets aren't going as ghosts, but as mattresses? And if a mute swears, does his mother wash his hands with soap? Oh, you know, right? Here's a good one for all you guys out there. If a man is standing in the middle of a forest speaking, and there is no woman to hear him, is he still wrong? Is he still wrong? Well, maybe not. I don't know. But I do know that we are at the end of our program today. That's right. So with that in mind, I thank you. Yes, thank you, Zach, for being here. We really appreciate you. With that in mind, thank you again for joining me here tonight on the DMS 3000 News Live program. I want to thank all of you for joining us. And remember, if you have not subscribed to the David3000 Network, please do. We are about 8 subscribers away from 1,000, and we sure would like to have you as part of our growing family with some great shows that maybe you would like to share with us. There are ways to do that. We'll explain it further on next week, and hope that you will join us for another great show here on the David3000 Network. I'm Jason DeCanio. Remember, be honest, be real, keep it simple, stupid, kiss, and always remember to tell the truth, because the truth will set you free, as they say, you know, for sure. We will see you next week. Bye for now.
Don't forget to subscribe to the David3000 Network for great more content like this one.